Hey, y'all. I don't know why I say y'all. Like I'm from down south, but I say it anyway. Hey, y'all. Welcome. This guy, Matt. Massive Beers. We're here to talk about beer. What beer? Hop Butcher for the World. It's their All Sides Are Green. This is a new beer from them. I have not had this beer before. This is a Nelson Sauvin, Simcoe, and Rawaka hopped double Indian Pale Ale coming in at 8.5% alcohol by volume. This is packaged a month ago. If you guys can kind of get that on there, that would be 222 on the package on this. It says all sides are Demi Lovato. I don't know what that means. And today is 325. Yeah, this is sent to me via Hop Butcher. Beer reviews. I haven't been doing a ton of them, so it takes me a little longer to get into them, but a month-old Hop Butcher double IPA. Should have no problem timing on that sucker. So, label-wise, one of the more basic Jetses. And I'm not going to sit here and kind of be like, hey, this is crazy good stuff, but yeah, it doesn't suck. Fresh, tropical, pleasant dank, and juicy. It's called juicy. The term's been used before in beer, I believe. Grapefruit. We'll see what's up. So, Hop Butcher for the World. Expanding like crazy. They bought a... Why am I taking too long to figure the brewery out? Daisy Cutter. Hey, that brewery, Acre. So they bought their spot in Chicago, and then a month or so later they bought Five Rabbit Cerveceria's old spot. They're no longer there. They purchased their spot, so good for them. We'll see where this rolls, because I don't know where this comes from. Canned by Hop Butcher for the World in Bedford Park, Illinois. I don't know where Bedford... I don't know. No, it doesn't say Miskatonic, so... I don't know. We're just going to dive into it. So, yeah, looks like a big, huge, dense, hazy double IPA. Just that kind of, that tinge a little bit more towards darker color, not necessarily like an oxidative kind of thing, but the way those kind of big double IPAs come off. Index finger, just south of khaki colored, rich kind of head on it. So it looks all the bits and pieces and parts and things. The nose. Kind of like, it doesn't smell bad. It just is muted. And full disclosure, I did a beer review before I did this one. It was a hoppy beer. So maybe that is what is causing this little kind of like, okay, the nose isn't a big... That beer? 5.2%. So if that 5.2% hazy pale ale is affecting my aromatics to the point where it kind of tempers this a little bit, that's because that other one was showing like crazy. So, 'tis what it is. Sweet. What is it? It's a tropical fruit, but I can't put my finger on what it would be. I'd probably go generic melon on it. What do they call about this? It's tasty. No, it's not aromatics. Fresh, tropical, pleasant dank, and juicy grapefruit. It's definitely tropical, but leaning more in this kind of sweetened. It's almost like it's gum-like. It's like juicy fruit gum, but a different kind of tropicalness to the juicy fruit gum. So it has a kind of juicy fruit gummy vibes. A sweetness to it. It comes off slightly confectionery. So almost pseudo-lactosey, but not quite there. Done. Yeah. Not a bad nose, but like I said, just not as hot and bothered, I guess you'd say. That doesn't even make sense, so let's dive in. Cheers. That's bitter. It's not bitter. There's bittering. I should say that. It's not like it's punching me in the face like a West Coastie, but it's got a big bittering presence to it. When you're going through a nose and you're not getting any kind of green, any kind of like this kind of like pseudo kind of kicker or pseudo kind of lead up to a bittering, it's kind of surprising when you get something that's aggressive. I think it's propped up by a little bit of carbonic acid, but it's not that present, so I'm not going to sit here and get on my soapbox about that. But it's definitely there. I mean, it really is like a juicy fruit gum, but instead of being generic tropical, it's more like mango kiwi kind of tropical fruit. Very much juicy fruit gummy. So it's got that powdery, when you get this stick gum or stuff like that, it always has that kind of subtle powdered coat across of powdered sugar, confectionery sugar kind of stuff floating around on it. It has that kind of vibe to it. That's the way sweetness kind of comes off. So it's not sharp, but it's more softer. There's a bittering here. It really does come off, I wouldn't say West Coasty, kind of piney, kind of danky. It does have green elements. It does have some pininess to it. It has a little resinous to it, a little bit of green beester weediness to it, all kind of mashed up into one. There is a carbonic thing that is propping that up, that's making it heftier on the bittering side of things, but it doesn't get too heavy-handed to where it's just too much of that carbonic acid. But it's there. I don't hate it. I'm not going to sit here and say I hate on it, but it does have a soft seltzer-like vibe to it that is there enough for you to kind of think about it, at least. Mouthfeel's okay. I've had much, much more fuller and richer mouthfeels from Hot Butcher. A much smaller Hazie's, 8.5%. You want something to have a little bit more beefiness to it now. You're talking about a month old. I don't think that really dropped off all that well. Maybe I should have shook the can up, stirred it, maybe rolled it. Who knows? It's not a bad mouthfeel. It's not a thin mouthfeel. It's just not what I come to expect from Hot Butcher. I like it, though. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like this beer. It's really kind of unique. Not unique. Well, I guess it's unique in its own experience to drink this after doing that other beer, which drinks creepily close to this as far as impact. Actually has a fuller mouthfeel. Less sweet, but just as punchy in the hop side of things in different ways, but at, 3.5% smaller. That's a fun little thing to do. Maybe you should start doing like big versus small beers. This is a fun kind of side by side. But I like it. I think it's fun. It's not going to win any awards. It's not going to Mount Rushmore status in general, let alone Mount Rushmore status for Hot Butcher. That doesn't diminish the tastiness of the beer. I think it's quite tasty and it's fun. But I've had much better from Hot Butcher and other breweries and stuff like that. And it's a really well done, fun, hazy double IPA. Done. That's it. Sounds like I'm being real negative, but I'm not. It's just a Hot Butcher crushes it. It's like, when it comes to hazy IPA, they do more than just hazy IPA, but they do such a good job at it. When you have one that is I don't want to use the word mediocre, but middle ground for them. That's probably a better way to put it. It's still much, much, much better than you get from most other people. So that's kind of the way I usually like to phrase that. There you go. So I want y'all to tell me about your experience with this beer specifically. Hot Butcher, we want to have that conversation. You're more than welcome. I want to start that conversation about the breweries in these videos. More specifically, you've had this beer. More specifically, you had this batch of this beer. All sides are green from Hot Butcher. Let's talk about it. Am I right? Am I wrong? Well, I'm not wrong. I'm me. But do you side with what I said? Or you're like, you're totally crazy, man. It was this way for me. Let me know down there. Let's talk about it. There you go. Hot Butcher beer in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.